Hello again everybody, this is XB Walker for Dragon Hunting Part 2. This is going to be a lot more fun to watch because it's beautiful. Today we are going to learn about dragon bases. That's right. You'll also notice that I have my graphic at the bottom left of the screen. Reason being, this is my main character, and pirates and enemy players are a very real thing, especially out in the wilderness where I happen to be. So for my safety, I'm going to hide my location. And also be aware, if you're a new player, this character is very, very advanced. It's level 27, almost max level. So you're going to see me do things that you cannot do as a new player. But don't worry, you will get there. Training in this game is a lot quicker than training in other time-based games. The longest skill is my armor protection, which I just finished. And that took me a month. I'm actually learning stiletto. We'll talk about that in PvP tutorial. Alright, so let's get to dragon hunting. How about it? First of all, let's talk about setting up your dragon base. Now, I will make another tutorial on setting up a multi-purpose settlement, but let's assume that you've figured out how to set up a multi-purpose settlement. You've put in the money, the real player money, to get 10,000 gold, or 13 in this case, buy your multi-purpose settlement and lay it somewhere. Again, I will do another tutorial on that, but this one's being done before that tutorial. Don't worry, that tutorial is coming if you need to know how to make a base. So I've laid my dragon base. The best places to hunt for dragons, by the way, if you go to your map up here in the top right, you go and look for these little icons. It's kind of hard to see probably on the recording, but they look like dragon heads, and they're sort of thrown all over the map. There's another one. There's one right there. There's a dragon head here and there. We are on one of those dragon heads. And I've set up a base. You can't really see on the map here, but a good way to know that there's dragon nearby is look for plateaus. That's a dragon base. Usually stony covered mountains is another dead giveaway for dragons. And they just love rocks, and they don't really like trees all that much. So we've set up our dragon base. What we're going to do to equip it in order to loot all the dragons that we kill is we're going to click on our flight center. You'll notice mine's already packed full of loot. Remember, in the other tutorial I told you that it might be a little discouraging how little loot you're going to get early on. Well, later in the game, you're going to get tons. This is why you really should look for a guild. Shout out to my guild, of course. Alright, we're going to equip an auto collector on here. Auto collectors are another item that you have to buy for gold. Again, you can buy it with silver if you've got the silver. You just got to convert it to gold. Equipping the auto collector makes it so that your base picks up any loot in the radius of 2 miles. Whereas if you click it on your ship, it's only within a radius of about 300 yards. So putting it on a base is the way to go if you want to do massive amounts of dragon hunting. So we've equipped that. We've equipped a telephone. I'll tell you about that in the base building tutorial. We should equip a crystal, but for reasons I don't understand, I can't seem to. This is one of my guild members' bases. Maybe his permissions aren't quite set correctly. So we're going to skip that part for now. We're going to click on our ship, just like we did in all the other tutorials. We're going to take off. And let's go to about, I don't know, let's say 1,000, maybe 1,500 or so above our base. When you kill a dragon, he's going to fall at an angle from your area to the ground. So if you're too high up, you're killing dragons. They have 5 or 4,000 yards to fall before they hit the ground. By the time they hit the ground, they could hit the ground way over there in the distance, and your base can't pick up their loot. So I recommend floating high enough above your base that you don't accidentally shoot it, but not too high to where the loot doesn't make it. So as we're raising up, we're going to do something. This is called the dragon call, or dragon horn in this instance. This is this item right here. It looks like a horn, and very light, doesn't take up much space, but it costs 500 mana to be activated. The skill in order to do dragon hunting, dragon calling rather, is called dragon call. Go figure. And you can see there in the description, it requires 500 mana to do. It summons dragons within a radius of 15 miles. Now that's because mine is level 3 out of 3. You're going to start at 1, 2, or 3, whatever you've worked your way up to at this point. So don't be discouraged if there's less dragons that come when you use it. As you scale this up, there's going to be a very large radius, as you'll see in a moment. So let's just get started, because it takes them a while. Click on my dragon horn. Just like with anything else, to activate it, I hit A, or I click the check mark. Okay, I've now activated my dragon horn. You're not going to be able to see it because I've got to hide the map. Let me try something. Hold on. Here we go. Lowered the logo a little bit. Now, hopefully you should be able to see some of my map. And the map is going to start filling up with dragons. Now, you saw this in the other tutorial video. It takes them a little bit of time to catch up with you and figure out what they're doing. I will admit the dragon AI is not particularly intelligent. I'm going to lower to 1,000 because I don't want to fight them in the clouds. That's not fun for a tutorial, is it? Now, dragons will aggro to the first thing that fires on them. So again, range of fire dragons, we're going to change that to 1,000. Now, I'm using 1-40s. I might have mentioned it in my previous tutorial, that there's different gun types and different calibers that do different types of damage. 1/40 is the second lowest caliber gun there is. It doesn't do much damage, but it is extremely accurate because the bullet size is so small. So I use 140s for dragon hunting. You can experiment with it. 1-10s are good too because they're very damaging, but they miss more. My recommendation is, if you can afford it, use 140s with armor piercing, but you don't have to get armor piercing. It's a very expensive ammo off the market. It's easier to make. So the other way around is 1-40s with just regular old ammo, which is super cheap. I'm in a mammoth, which if you've watched any of my previous tutorials, you'll know that I freaking love the mammoth. I think this is the greatest ship in this game. It's the closest thing we get in this game to a carrier, because I can hold 16 streklets, aka fighters. I can hold over 100,000 cargo, which is pretty awesome. I don't use fuel, and I mean, look at this. Look at all these freaking machine guns. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. That's ridiculous. 14 guns. This thing is made for PvE, not so much for PvP. So I've called the dragons, and they're starting to gather. You might notice that in the distance, they're gathering to the north on the map. That's because there's a player base down there who's got AA turrets, and he's shooting at the dragons. So a lot of them are going to aggro to him. We should still catch a pretty decent amount of them, though. Here we go. And you'll notice between this tutorial and the last that the 1-40s fire much quicker. It's basically ammo vomit. We'll watch this one right here. As soon as this guy gets in 1,000, the guns are going to open up on him. See, it's crazy. And the advantage of shooting 2,000 is we hit that guy way before he could even touch us. So if you can afford the ammo, go to 1,000 yards for your fire, because it saves you from having to buy new crystals, which the level of crystals I'm using are level 10s, though that's 10 gold per crystal. Those things are precious. Yeah, here we go. Now dragons are really starting to show up. So next to our base is going to be their loot. You'll see some loot popping out down here. Also, if you don't see little boxes around items on the ground, it's because you've disabled the indicators down here. Right under the bottom left of your map, oh, you can't see it because my logo's there, but at the very bottom left of your mini-map is a little symbol that looks like 3 tiny boxes. You click on that symbol and it will highlight these in boxes. If you click it again, which you'll just have to believe that I'm doing, then all of a sudden they all disappear. So make sure that's enabled. Makes it a lot easier to find things on the ground, unless of course I have run into issues with people have crappier graphics cards, maybe really they're just on integrated graphics, and when there's a ton of items on the ground, each of those boxes just destroys your frame rate. So the way around it, of course, would be to hit those boxes. But keep it on otherwise, unless you have terrible graphics. Each dragon has a level. There's level 9, male dragon. Male dragons tend to be larger and do more damage. Sexist game. Equal opportunities for dragons. Come on, guys. Here comes a female dragon, level 6. Their levels kind of matter, but not really in the grand scheme of things. I mean, like I said earlier, dragons are so crappy. They're so easy to kill. They have to come in large amounts to really threaten you. So their levels determine slightly more health, but at the end of the day, you're still going to kill them in a matter of seconds. So don't worry too much if you see like a level 30 dragon coming after you. It's not going to wreck your day. There are NPCs, however, that are very dangerous. NPC pirates, and I'm going to do a tutorial video on pirate hunting, which is super fun, as is cargo ship hunting. In fact, I think it's one of the more fun parts of this game because they fire back. But anyway, killing dragons, easy stuff. You could tell that was a male because he's pretty dang big in the distance. Okay. Alright, so we're going to continue to kill dragons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down and I'm going to check our dragon base. Now, when you have auto collectors on your ship, the ship picks up loot very, very quickly. It picks it up within a matter of 2 or 3 seconds. Bases, however, I don't know if this is intentional by the developers or if it's just missed, but bases don't pick up loot as quickly. You can see all this dragon loot still sitting on the ground. They seem to pick it up in pulses of about 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds, a lot of loot will disappear from the ground, whereas ships will just instantly grab it just about. And in our pirate hunting tutorial, I'm going to also teach you a little bit about hunting pirates with streks. Very fun to do. Streks are huge force multipliers. And I think they're one area of this game that I really hope the developers focus on, because being able to jump from your airship into a fighter and fly around and shoot things is really fun. In fact, that kind of reminds me, I am going to jump into a fighter and I'm going to shoot things, because this is actually advanced dragon hunting. So let's select a fighter here, and I'm kind of doing this before I'm giving you the tutorial on how to fly streks, but indulge me here. I gotta find one that's currently loaded. Alright, here we go. This one's got some missiles. This is actually my strek I use to capture other ships, but for the tutorial it'll work fine. So I'm going to take off of my strek. And I'm not going to be able to narrate this next part because I need both hands to fly it, so you'll just have to watch and enjoy it. Go, dragon coming up. Let's see if I get a lucky shot. These are dumb fire missiles that I'm going to be using, so it's a very low chance I'm actually going to hit a dragon. If I do, I got pro skills, man. You're also going to hear it in a moment. My rear gunner is going to start firing at these dragons. He's set to auto fire, and he's just using 1-50s, which aren't very powerful, but they keep dragons off your butt. Oh, that's a miss. Alright, time to return to base before I get killed. There's an auto return button here, right here. Again, I'll show you this in the actual strek tutorial, but giving you kind of a preview here. Let's see if he's chasing us down. There's also bombing view. Rear view. Seriously, streks are cool. I think it's one of the coolest part of the games right here. I mean, look at that. You can see my missile launchers on this little guy. Little orc dudes just kind of chilling in their biplane. Here comes a dragon. Maybe I'll actually shoot him if he gets in range. And I mean, look at that scene. Sunset in the background. That's pretty, man. If you can get over the hump of all the difficult things to learn in this game and all the really challenging parts of it, which, believe me, I know there are tons of challenging bits to this game. It's really pretty peaceful and pretty slow pace. It's very relaxing. Alright, attempt number 1, here we go. Woohoo! Alright, well that is Advanced Dragon Hunting 102, I guess. I'm going to upload this video, and you will soon see me probably for laying bases is going to be our next tutorial. Actually, it'll probably be streks because I don't really feel like buying a base for 10,000 gold at the moment. So we'll see you in a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed this advanced dragon hunting tutorial. Remember, you can turn most dragon loot into useful items such as armor punchers, cores for bullets, pieces for armor, all sorts of crazy stuff, which I may show you in a building tutorial. I'm not sure though, that might be something you just have to discover for yourself. Again, at this point in the game, I would really recommend you join a guild because you're gonna have a ton of questions, and I can only answer so many on these video tutorials. So get in a guild, ask questions, experiment, get yourself blown up, do all that fun stuff. You'll learn as you go, and the community in this game is very friendly, so we'll all be happy to help you. Thanks a lot, guys.